And we seem to be getting it right every single time we start yapping our big mouths behind the microphone. Bob Nightingale from USA Today now comes out today, and he had two reports, one which he acknowledges he had to back off from, regarding the New York Mets and Trevor Bauer. But regardless of how much money they offered him, he said with a New York Mets source, the New York Mets have made an offer to Trevor Bauer. Come get some.
Come get him. Come get him.
Now, the original report, which he has backed off from, because all those other baseball insiders, they got scooped by us and by Nightingale, was that he was going to be paid more than Garrett Cole's annual salary.
Right.
He is now backed off from that. It's also a shorter deal than Garrett Cole's 9-year deal.
Here's the thing. If they are going to get Garrett Cole on, let's say, a 3-year deal, which I think would be ideal for many reasons, you'd have him at age 30, 31, 32. So if you're concerned about what Trevor Bauer is going to be like 5 years from now, you don't have to worry about it on a 3-year deal. If you are one that thinks motivation helps, it's a shorter-term deal, that's a great deal for you. But the way to get it done is they're probably going to have to eclipse Garrett Cole's 37.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that. I don't know.
I think they are, man.
I don't think any of us know. I don't know that they're giving him $40 million per. The point is this.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the specifics in a second, which we don't know yet. They have made Trevor Bauer an offer. I have not heard from any baseball insider or any writer in any city in America the fact that any other team has made Trevor Bauer an actual offer on a piece of paper.
The only team you've heard have an interest in him is the Angels, but no offer.
Right.
And I think that's a part of why Trevor Bauer, the main reason why the negotiations haven't gone anywhere.
Go get Trevor Bauer, because I'll tell you this, regardless of what they might be paying him, if you have Trevor Bauer, the logic says they trade Steven Matz and they save the $5 million on his salary because they do want to stay under that luxury tax number. The New York Mets have the best pitching staff in baseball.
Not even a question.
And it's not close.
Not even a question.
So the Mets got Lindor. The Nets got Harden. The Jets are getting Deshaun Watson. The New York Yankees already outdoing most teams with their decisions this offseason, bringing in the Stallion, bringing in Kluber, re-signing DJ. New York, once again, the capital of the sports world. Nobody's better than us.
When this offseason began, I preferred Trevor Bauer to George Springer because I looked at what this rotation could be if they added Trevor Bauer. And what this rotation could be is the best rotation in baseball. That's what it could be.
Pretty good.
And you're not bringing him in to be an ace. You're paying him like he's an ace, that's for sure. But you're not bringing him in to be an ace because the best pitcher in baseball resides in this rotation. If you could get him on a shorter-term deal, even if that figure is just crazy in your mind. I heard a caller to Moose and Maggie saying, you're overpaying for him. What does overpaying actually mean? It's what your market dictates. And I'd rather sign a guy to a 3-year deal with a higher figure than a 5 or 6-year deal with a lower figure.
Sure, you want to save on the years because you worry about a guy in his mid-30s.
I don't know what he's going to be.
And Trevor Bauer's not one of these guys where he's been lights out ace his entire career.
No, but I trust that he will be for the next few years because I look at Bauer in 18, I look at Bauer in 20, and I see a dominant starting pitcher.
Great.
19 was a little bit of a mess.
How much money per year is DeGrom making?
33.
So logic says to me, ask the following question. Mm-hmm. Are you going to give Trevor Bauer more money per year than what you are giving the best pitcher in baseball?
Here's the problem.
Maybe not.
Here's the thing. You are. The answer is you are. And that doesn't mean Trevor Bauer is better than Jacob deGrom. It means that Jacob deGrom chose, and I'm glad he did, a contract extension 2 years ago. He decided not to go to free agency,
and
thank God he didn't. Could you imagine what deGrom would have gotten?
Well, he'd be in
pinstripes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So just because the Mets may have to give Bauer more than deGrom doesn't mean the Mets think Bauer's better than deGrom. It's like we've always talked about with the Yankees. when you're attracting a free agent to you, you've got to overpay.
Sometimes you do. That's right.
So you can't look at it as, well, you can't pay Trevor Bauer more than Jacob deGrom. If the market dictates that, then you do.
I'm not saying we should look at it. The question is, how does deGrom look at it? As long as deGrom's good with it.
Jake's a big boy.
Listen, if you're making $33 million a year, are you really going to get pissed?
No.
If somebody else makes 35?
Look,
some guys do. I don't know if deGrom's one of those guys.
Jake knew when he signed that extension 2 years ago, the risks and the rewards of doing it. The risk is I continue to dominate. I could have been a free agent. I could have gotten $280 million.
Right.
He chose not to. And based on where he was in his career age-wise, I think he made a great decision. And look, for his family, the guy's guaranteed $130 million over the next 4 years. That's what Jake's getting.
Right.
So I don't think that matters.
He's good.
I think he's all right.
I agree with you.
And you know what else? Here's the other reason why I don't think Jake cares. I'll tell you the other reason. Jacob deGrom wants to win a World Freaking Series. And if people can't remember this because it's been 5 years, Jacob deGrom showed stones in October, specifically in that Game 5 against the Dodgers. And even in Game 1 when he struck a million guys out. You don't think Jacob deGrom has been dreaming like every other night about getting back to October?
Sure.
Well, how do you get back to October, Craig?
You make sure you get it. You assemble the best pitching staff you can possibly assemble. And if they get Trevor Bauer, they will have done that. And if you get Trevor Bauer, no one's going to bitch about losing out on Springer. Nobody's going to bitch about losing out on Brad Hand. All Met fans are going to be sheep like all fan bases are.
It's not
and they're going to come out and they're going to say this. We've got the best pitching staff in baseball.
Well, yes.
That's what you're going to say.
But that's not because you're sheep.
But all the bitterness, all the cantankerousness over the last couple days of Brad Hand signing to be the Nationals closer. Wah! Why didn't we get him? Maybe his velocity's down. Maybe you don't guarantee Brad Hand the fact that he's your closer when you have other guys on the roster that might be better at it. Wah! We didn't get Springer. You offered Springer $25 million a year. Somebody offered him more years. $50 million. They weren't cheap with George Springer. They made him a $25 million a year offer.
Hold on a second, Craig. Forget Brad Hand. That's different. You, a week ago, were, let me describe you. You were that person about George Springer. I was the one who wasn't.
No, I wasn't.
I was the one who said, look, I don't want George Springer at the potential cost of Michael Conforto. Bauer's different, by the way. Bauer's very different.
Is that right?
Trevor Bauer may cost you is Noah Syndergaard. But see, I'm willing to make that bet. I'm willing to say, you know what? Let's get into bed with Trevor Bauer for 3 or 4 years. Let's pay him an absurd amount of money. And look, if Noah Syndergaard comes back from Tommy John surgery and he's great and he can get himself a 4 or 5 year deal, you got to let him go because the truth is you're not paying 3 starting pitchers $30 million a year. And I accept that. Conforto versus Springer was very different. That's why an investment in Trevor Bauer, to me at least, is different than the potential investment of Springer to Conforto.
Yeah.
But a week ago, I don't have this short memory.
I don't remember whang about the Mets.
Yes, you did.
I thought I gave the Mets credit for offering, what was it, $1.25?
No, you said why not go further?
I don't remember saying that.
Steve Cohen's a fraud.
I don't remember saying
all this
that.
money? Met fans are ticked off. And by the way, let me just say something to my fellow Met fan.
Yeah.
Because it feels like everyone's forgetting this. The New York Mets this offseason traded for Francisco Lindor. I've heard Met fans talk about this offseason as if it's a typical Wilpon offseason.
No, that's ridiculous.
It's not.
That's ridiculous.
Trevor Bauer signing the best free agent on the market would be the cherry on top. Now, there would still be other holes. I still think they need a left-handed arm for the bullpen. I still would like to improve their defense in center field. All that can be true, but by signing Trevor Bauer, you have put together a 4-man rotation. I'm not even going to include Syndergaard. He's coming back from Tommy John. A 4-man rotation of Jake, Bauer, Carrasco, and Stroman that, let's face it, is almost unmatched. That's a hell of a rotation.
It's a good day to be a New Yorker yet again.
Well, they got to sign him, bro.
Listen, they made him an offer. No one else has made him an offer. To me, when stuff like that starts leaking out, it's close to being done. That's the way I usually view it.
You think it's close to being done?
I believe it's close to being done.
And would you agree
And that's
with
not
me?
based on talking to anyone.
Right.
It's based on exactly what I told you people yesterday.
You people.
Common sense. Common sense is we had $38 million we were ready to spend on Springer and Brad Hand. We didn't spend that money.
Right.
No fault of our own. But we're ready to spend that money. Okay, now that money's available, go get Trevor Bauer. To me, that was just logical. And once again, my logical brain works faster and smarter than most other people's logical brains.
I see.
It's a gift.
I see.
I don't know where it comes from. It just happens.
It wasn't a gift a week ago when you were killing the Mets for not signing George Springer.
I do not remember ever saying that.
Steve Cohen.
No.
All the hype of this offseason, all the money they were going to spend.
Yeah.
That was you.
Well,
you. I'm looking in your eyes. You.
I believe I said.
What'd you say?
The New York Mets offering $25 million a year. No reason to go higher than that. If someone wants to give the guy $30 million for a year or more years, and
I must be misremembering.
Then you are. You've done that a lot lately.
I have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's somewhere with the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you got a haircut.
Remember what you say. Thank you.
Maybe that now because remember yesterday you were trying to find tapes of me. You couldn't.
I couldn't find those.
Because I think here's what happens.
What do you think happens?
We are still relatively new together.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you make the mistake that some listeners make.
What's that?
You think you hear me say something, but I never actually said it. And in your mind, you're like, yeah, it sounds like something I would have said.
Right.
Therefore, you think I said it.
You know what I'm going to start doing?
But when you go back and check the tapes,
right.
Never said it.
What I'm going to start doing from this day forward, and I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing it for the people. I'm doing it for the listeners because I want to hold people accountable. I hold myself accountable. I'd like to hold you accountable. Anytime I hear you give some kind of opinion that I feel you may flip-flop on or you may be really wrong about, I'm going to write it down on my trusty little tabletta.
Great.
I'm going to write down the time so that it's easy to go back and find you saying that. I didn't do that with you saying, basically hand-waving the idea of the Jets getting Deshaun Watson, and I didn't do it last week with you killing the Mets. I mean, crushing them for not signing George Springer.
Nobody else remembers that. I'll tell you what I do remember, though.
Yeah.
I went on your social media yesterday.
Yes.
And I got all these people attacking me because I said on the show yesterday, it makes sense to me that the Mets will now get Trevor Bauer.
Right.
I said it on the show yesterday.
I do
that
remember
logically, the money is available. The New York Mets are going to sign Trevor Bauer.
So what happened?
So all these people on social media go out and go, Carton said the Mets are getting Bauer. So, of course, what's the reaction to that? I, of course, get attacked. Little old me.
Attacked for what? Making it up? I
get attacked.
Is that what they're accusing
Carton
of?
has no sources.
Oh, gotcha.
Carton's just talking out of his ass. Carton this. Carton that.
You loved it.
Blah-diddy, blah, blah, blah. And then I wake up today, and I slept in a little bit today.
Oh, good for you.
That's right. I slept in.
Resting up for the Knicks Jazz game tonight, I see.
I was watching all the TikTok videos last night, and I decided to sleep in this morning.
Okay.
And then when I finally come around and take a shower, my phone's blowing up that a guy I've never heard of from USA Today comes out and said, according to an anonymous, on-the-record New York Mets source, the New York Mets have offered Trevor Bauer Garrett Cole-type money, if not more. Then, of course, all the baseball weasels, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So the guy went back and redid the story a little bit, Bob Nightingale, and said they made him an offer. It will not eclipse the Garrett Cole deal as far as the annual per.
Yes.
All right. So then Mike Puma, who people seem to have respect for.
I like Mike Puma, yeah. Good reporter.
Mike Puma comes out today, like an hour ago, and goes, the Mets made an offer to Bauer, but that offer was made weeks ago.
Right.
And I'm saying to myself, if you're Mike Puma, and you know that the New York Mets have made an offer to one of the biggest name free agents out there this offseason, weeks ago.
No, he didn't know that.
Why didn't you report that?
Nah, I think you misread. He's saying the Mets made the offer weeks ago, not I knew this weeks ago. And I waited
that's not how I took it.
That's how I took it.
He was trying to dismiss the Nightingale report.
Well, a couple of things. Bob Nightingale, who he seems like a wonderful guy.
I never heard of the guy.
Well, let me tell you something about Bob Nightingale.
You can't come out as Mike Puma and go, that they made him that offer weeks ago. Well, then why didn't you report it?
Because he didn't know it weeks ago.
Oh, so now
that's how I took it.
So he's confirming Nightingale's report.
Well, hold on. Let's start with Nightingale.
Can't have it both ways.
Bob Nightingale has a habit of being wrong basically all the time. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this.
Kind of like Ken Rosenthal recently.
Well, Ken is in a slump recently. I don't want to bury Ken.
All right.
But is that fair, C-Mac, as someone who follows baseball Twitter, that Bob is wrong 80% of the time?
I would say he's wrong more than anyone else I'm aware of.
Okay, he's wrong.
So he's got a bad reputation.
He's got a bad rep. So to the point where when I saw his story this morning, I tweeted it texted it to my Mex chat and said, got to keep in mind, it's Bob N. We got to keep in mind, it's Nightingale. You never know. And look, the crux of it is true. And that's what John Heyman and Mike Puma and all the baseball reporters are reporting. The Mets made an offer to Trevor Bauer. Great. He's a free agent. I hope they make an offer to Trevor Bauer. But his initial report that they were ready to offer him more money per year than Garrett Cole, he's backed off on. And I don't know how far the Mets are willing to go. Here's the question. With George Springer, they went as far as 5 years, 125, right? That's where they went. And that was their cutoff. Because another team, the Toronto Blue Jays, said, we're going to go 6, we're going to go 150. That was their cutoff. So here's the question, and this to me is going to determine if the Mets end up with Trevor Bauer or don't end up with Trevor Bauer.
They're getting Trevor Bauer, guys. What are we worried about? It's done.
No. How far are they going to be willing to go? Are they going to give him, I'll throw it at you. Are they going to give him 3 years, $40 million a year?
4 years, $140.
What's that per year?
35.
You think they do that?
Yeah. 4 years, $140.
So $35 million a year, you said?
That's right. Trevor Bauer's a New York Met. Consider it done.
Would I do that?
Celebrate it. You're damn right you would do it.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, you would. Why wouldn't you?
Will the Mets do that? Are the Mets going to
Why wouldn't they?
Why? They didn't go the extra $25 million for Springer.
Because that was smart business.
I'm not disagreeing, Craig. I didn't want George Springer.
George Springer's not a 6-year, $25 million per year guy. Trevor Bauer, 4 years, $140. Lock that bad boy up. Look, you got the best pitching staff in baseball.
I prefer Trevor Bauer. I've preferred Trevor Bauer since the beginning of this offseason, but I also like to be fair. Are you saying Trevor Bauer has proven himself to be a 4-year, $135 guy?
He has not.
He has not. Okay.
He is not.
Okay.
But I got to deal in the reality. If I'm Steve Cohen and Sandy Alderson, who I adore, right? I got to deal with the reality of this offseason. I can't compare it to other offseasons.
That's fine.
So he's the best pitcher available.
Yes,
he gives me the best pitching staff. Starting rotation.
I believe so.
In the entire sport.
I believe so.
I had $38 million earmarked for these two guys. I didn't get them. By the way, another great starter, you'll disagree with this, minimizes the need for another good reliever. A little bit. He should give you a little extra length,
to a degree,
as you baseball people like to say.
Yes.
Length.
Yes.
Sex in baseball. The only place length is important, unless you're a width guy, and then we can talk about beer cans. Okay.
Basketball's got penetration, by the way,
and height. Can't teach height. Football, of course, is speed, which is more of my sexual experience.
And inches, which is also your sexual.
So here's my deal.
Yes.
You got a wealthy owner. You don't want to go over the luxury tax, but if he had to go over by a nickel or a dime here and there, that's not going to be a concrete wall.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Now, he doesn't want to go over at year one,
right.
But if he's over by a couple bucks, he's over by a couple bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're at $1.85 right now.
Right.
The tax number is $210.
Yep.
Okay? So you sign Bauer, you trade Matz, and you're right there. You're a couple million over.
Yeah, but
you are right there.
So you're not adding a defensive center fielder. You're sticking with J.D. Davis, and you're not adding another arm out of the bullpen.
I then want to see what's the real marketplace for Bradley Jr. If it's a reasonable number and amount of years, perhaps I do it.
I'm not letting.
And then you go like this. You go like this. Look, I'm going to do it for you. I want to make sure it's on camera so everyone can see it.
What?
You go like this. I want you to practice this. Practice at home unless you're driving. You got to have both hands on the wheel. Unless you're a good driver with your knee like I am. And then use the knee and do what I'm about to do anyway.
I don't advise you to do that.
But don't get caught using the knee.
Yeah, don't do it.
You never drove with the knee?
No.
Oh, I'm a great knee driver.
Oh, great.
I don't encourage it. I don't suggest anyone else should do it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't encourage it. Don't listen to him. Now, what's your point?
When I drive pretending I'm in a Tesla. But I'm really just driving with my knees. In any event.
Oh, jeez.
I want you to go like this. Ready?
Yeah.
As if pretend your hands are dirty.
Okay.
Now, I know you don't like to get your hands dirty too much.
I'm very anal about my hands.
You have pristine hands.
Thank you.
I want you to go like this. Like you're wiping your hands clean.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Like you just chopped a bunch of wood.
Right.
You carried the wood into the fireplace. You've got some shrapnel on your hands.
Okay.
Like that.
Yep.
Go ahead, do it.
I already did it. You want me to do it again?
Well, your hands aren't clean yet. Right? Okay. That's it. You wipe your hands of it.
Of
all right?
what? Wiping my hands of what? You didn't explain it.
I didn't? I felt in my head like that was really clear.
You had the end game. I don't know what I'm wiping my hands of.
You get Bauer.
Yeah.
If you really want to get Bradley Jr., I don't think it's a waste, but go ahead, make
go
yourselves
trade for
happy.
Albert Almora. You
And
can
then
get
go
a
like this.
defensive
Go
center
like
fielder.
this. Call it a day. The New York Mets have a team. Now you cross your fingers that there's going to be baseball this year, and that's it. It's over.
You can make smaller moves. Like, they need to add, in my opinion, another they need another outfielder.
You're being greedy
period.
now. Stop being greedy.
I'm not being greedy. I haven't even finished.
Trevor Bauer.
No,
That's it.
Hold on. I didn't say Jackie Bradley Jr. I'm talking a cheaper alternative. I'm talking about Albert Almora, especially if I'm making a deal with the Cubbies. He doesn't make any money. You can go smaller, and I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. The question is going to be, how far are the Mets really going to be willing to go? And is there going to be another offer out there, like there was for Springer, that eclipses them?
I'm telling you, just listen.
I want him to be a Met. Since the
Stop
moment
worrying about it. It's like when I told Big Mac,
I'm not
DJ's a Yankee. He was never not going to be a Yankee.
That's very different, bro.
And then what we did like this.
Craig, you can't compare DJ re-signing with the Yankees to the Mets signing Trevor Bauer.
Oh, yes, I can.
And I say the same thing as I said to you yesterday. Do you remember what I said to you yesterday? You even asked me. You said, will the Mets sign Trevor Bauer? You said it point blank. Do you remember what my response was?
I hope so.
Well, what was it? What was my response?
No, I think your response was, I hope so.
I hope so. It's 50-50.
Oh, no, it's done.
No,
forget about it.
And I stand by that here today on Tuesday.
Over.
It is
It's
a
done.
50-50 thing.
Listen
I think
to
it's
me.
very possible. I think it would be great. I will argue with my fellow Met fan who preferred George Springer, and I've argued with him for the last 2 months. But it's a 50-50 proposition because you've got Artie Moreno as a factor. We don't know what the Angels are coming in with an offer as.
Who knows? I know. Bauer's a Met. That's
and it's
it.
4 years, 135. Is that
4
what you
years, $140. I may be off a couple mil here or there.
No, I want to write this down.
4 years, $140. Done. That's
4
it. Lock it up.
years, $140.